Welcome everybody, my name is Michael and today we're discussing about John McAfee, everyone's favorite friend. He is a crazy millionaire, possibly a murderer who escaped police, and I just generally don't know what's going on with his life because he's absolutely insane. But he has led one of the most adventurous lives and also just a crazy, apocalyptic, chaotic life, I guess you could say, because he's been chased by the police. He's paranoid. He went on substance binges all across the world, and he also tried running for the presidency. It is none other than the McAfee founder. He's not the CEO because he sold it long ago. John McAfee, he's back in the news again. Our favorite cryptocurrency enthusiast. Yeah, this time he was arrested in Spain last year, and his friend, Mr. Watson, was arrested on March 4th, 2021 in Texas. Together, John McAfee and Jimmy Gale Watson, he was an executive advisor to Mr. McAfee. They were arrested, and they've been in custody, and they're awaiting trial for U.S. tax evasion charges, of which Mr. John McAfee was more than happy to include all the details and say he was definitely evading and he's not paying and taxation is theft. So the American authorities took interest, and I think that's why, even though all the news reports such as CNN and CNBC, antivirus software creator John McAfee indicted on cryptocurrency fraud charges, even though all the mainstream media outlets are saying it is for his fraudulent pump and dump and for not disclosing he was getting paid by these projects, I don't think that's the real reason the U.S. government really wanted him. I think just as Mr. Al Capone was arrested and spent his last days in a prison in San Francisco, Alcatraz, I think the real people behind the scenes are the IRS, because the U.S. government loves tax evaders. The IRS gives you plenty of chances to pay, and every single time they will increase your fines until it gets to a point where it gets really bad, and then they want to throw you in jail and slap you with more fines. There's been a fair amount of tax evaders put into prison, and there's also been a fair amount of celebrity tax evaders. People from Jersey Shore, Wesley Snipes, like I previously mentioned, Al Capone, Walter Anderson, Joe Francis, Leona Helmsley. And there's people who were charged, but maybe they didn't go to jail. They just had to pay a lot of fines, such as even Nicolas Cage. He racked up a total of $13.3 million in tax debts. Another actor, Stephen Baldwin, pleaded guilty to not paying around $400,000 to the IRS. Heidi Fleiss, another Hollywood well-known name, was sentenced to 37 months in prison. And not only that, for tax evasion and also money laundering, why not? Let's just slap on more terms. Joe Francis was the guy behind Girls Gone Wild, and we're not going to go into that because it's a kid-friendly channel, but yeah, things got a little murky over there. Dolce & Gabbana, right? Prada, Louis Vuitton. Well, designer Domenico Dolce and Stefano Gabbana. Domenico Dolce, that sounds like Domenico de Coco, if you get the reference. So their tax nightmare started in 2007, and they were eventually vindicated in October 2014, but they were convicted of failing to file tax returns, not for the American IRS, but in Italy, and the designers owed approximately $50.7 million, so quite a bit more. I'm not sure if, I don't really follow all of these cases, but Teresa and Joey Giudice, there was a billionaire hotel magnate, Leona Helmsley, Billy Nelson. He was hit with a $32 million bill in back taxes. Ja Rule, Wesley Snipes, Ty Warner. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of people who were arrested, and Mr. John McAfee, he was doing a fair bit of illegal stuff, or at least suspicious stuff, and he was in Spain at the time, and he's like, I'm not paying my taxes for cryptocurrency, and IRS was definitely involved. They decided, let's catch him, so they convicted him. They captured him. And there was plenty of rumors of how he was pump and dumping his investors or followers through Twitter, and he got paid approximately $2 million, maybe even more, who knows, back in 2017, 2018, when he was promoting ICOs. And I remember John McAfee, my team from Travel Block at the Bitcoin Dallas conference, super conference, we got a picture with John McAfee. Crazy feller. I wish him all the best, but some of the stuff that he does is just dumb. Maybe this is because he just truly does not care at all. I can't go into all of the details. I mean, we've already talked about him on Kubera, but he did so much crazy stuff in his life that you have to watch documentaries about him. Yes, there's stuff on Netflix and other places about him. And yeah, you're not going to find any Fortune 500 CEO who's first of all a crazy conspiracy theorist, but second of all is himself part of actual conspiracies and fleeing countries and being thrown into jails around the world. And yeah, great stuff. All right. He married his wife, which was an adult, the stuff that's in Amsterdam and Las Vegas. She is an NSFW worker. There's just a whole bunch of stuff. So Mr. McAfee has been active in cryptocurrency, obviously, and there's been a whole slew of charges. One of them is for pumping and dumping. Mr. McAfee and Mr. Watson are charged with purchasing large quantities of publicly traded cryptocurrency altcoins at inexpensive market prices. Then Mr. McAfee would, via his Twitter account, Official McAfee, promote the value of these altcoins to investors to inflate the price. It has allegedly pocketed over $2 million for the efforts from December 2017 through January 2018, which isn't bad at all for 2 months' work, but I do believe that there's probably been a lot more money involved. Plus, with the growth of cryptocurrency, and since it's anonymous in some cases, you don't really know. It could be $10 million. It could be $20 million. McAfee's done a lot of dumb decisions, but he's also a really smart individual. It's a weird paradox, but he's made hundreds of millions of dollars through his software company, which was decades before. This was already after he went crazy and he had a life-changing experience with stuff that I can't really mention, but we used to talk about it on Avi. It starts with A, ends with Oscar, Huasca. We go to his Twitter profile. Let me just show you this. Yeah, he had one of the most craziest presidential candidate advertisements ever. You thought Trump was crazy? Dang. This was even more. Iconoclast, lover of woman, adventure, and mystery, founder of McAfee Antivirus. He has 1 million followers, and he's wherever he is. He's in jail right now. Through his Twitter, he has stated, the SEC allegations, my team evaluated every promotion based on management, business plans, and potential. No one could have foreseen the altcoin market crash. We were paid in the same coins that crashed. The SEC allegations are overblown. My belief in the coins I promoted is exemplified by Docadamic, the coin I promoted the most. Even as it crashed, I held every single coin allocated to me. I never sold a single coin. I believed in the company to the very end. And ironically, one of his last tweets was he was looking for a lawyer to work with his Spanish lawyers who has a sound understanding of cryptocurrency. So hopefully he was able to find a lawyer. So one of the coins that he pumped was Verge, aka XVG. On December 13th, 2017, McAfee transferred $15,000 to one of his team members and directed 1/3 of the amount be used to purchase XVG tokens at a market price. Then from December 13th to 17th, McAfee endorsed the XVG tokens on his Twitter account. Interestingly, he was called out in a tweet for pumping XVG and responded he didn't own any, and technically he didn't because somebody else from his team was purchasing XVG. He stated, I own no XVG. I love how you shallow folks cannot distinguish between someone who shamelessly speaks his mind because it's true and someone with an ulterior motive. You know absolutely nothing about me if you believe I have the time to waste spewing garbage. His tweets are always exciting. McAfee also engaged in direct one-on-one discussions via text messages with investors concerning Verge, denying any ownership in all instances. Then, on December 17th, after 4 days of pumping Verge, the team member was instructed to dump, and they garnered around $30,000 profit from a $5,000 investment. Now, notice that this is only $30,000 profit when we were talking about $2 million for the whole month. But of course, this happened within a few days, so they had plenty of other opportunities to pump coins as well, but most of the money wasn't made from pumping, at least not that I believe in. Verge fell around 85%, but that was due to everything was just starting to fall. So McAfee is right in the sense that a lot of people on YouTube, a lot of investors, a lot of influencers on Twitter and YouTube, Reddit, everywhere you could go, we were promoting projects. I was promoting projects. All the YouTubers, everybody was promoting projects. Some people would say that it's shilling. Sure, some of the projects we were paid for. Some of them we weren't. Some of them we were invested in. I got paid for a project and I went down with the ship. I sold at a massive loss. I went into debt, and you know, that the story ends there for me. So I lost like a lot of money. So people weren't really angry at me because they also lost money, but they lost less money than me. And I guess I was kind of stupid that I made a lot of money. I could have sold with profits, but whatever, that's happened in the past. But Mr. McAfee, he got out with a lot of money. And I think that's where the story changes. A lot of YouTubers as well, some of the people that I was friends with, we all lost money. Some were larger amounts, some were smaller. Some people got to keep 10% of what they had, some people 20%. But with the bear market crash, a lot of companies went bankrupt. There was just nothing you could do about that. So we weren't really pumping and dumping. We were just promoting projects that we believed in. And unfortunately, when the crash happened, it happened so quickly that I lost like $60,000, $70,000, more than half of what I owned within just a matter of a few days. And I was not prepared for it. I was shell-shocked. Everybody was shell-shocked. So the SEC, I don't know. I kind of am rooting for McAfee here because it's not his fault that Verge fell. It's not his fault that some of the coins that he was talking about fell. So he had his coin of the day tweets. So for example, one is reading, beginning tomorrow, I will each day talk about a unique altcoin. Most of the 2,000 coins are trash or scams. I've read every white paper. The few I'm connected to, I will tell you. The rest I have no position in. These coins will change the world. You can support that change. And that was on December 20th. And some of these coins were Electroneum, Dogecoin, Stellar Lumens, Burst Coin, Gigabyte, Redcoin, Humanic, Tron, Factum, Syscoin, Ripio Credit Network. And some of them are still around today, such as Tron and Dogecoin and Stellar Lumens and Digibyte and Electroneum. And sure, there's some of them are larger. Most of them did fall, and that was just how altcoins were. That was just how a lot of ICOs were. I remember our team, Travel Block, reached out to him, and I think he was taking any promotions of a project. They were around $100,000 a piece, or maybe even a few $100,000. I can't remember. And if he wanted to become an advisor for a project where he not only promoted it in a single tweet or in a few tweets, that would cost around $1 million. And obviously those rates were just so drastic that we were just curious about his rates. So obviously we didn't work with him. McAfee and Watson are also charged with using the power of McAfee's Twitter account to tout the fundraising events of the ICOs. He neglected to mention that he was compensated by the ICO issuers and that a large percentage of every ICO investment was skimmed off the top. McAfee and Watson face many years in prison if convicted, on top of his tax evasion charges. So one of them is, so let's begin. 5 years, conspiracy to commit commodities and securities fraud. 5 years, conspiracy to commit securities and touting fraud. 20 years each, 2 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. 20 years each, 2 counts of substantive wire fraud. And 10 years, conspiracy to commit money laundering. On top of all of that, allegedly, John McAfee hid cryptocurrency, a yacht, real estate, and other properties in nominee names to evade taxes. And we're not sure the exact amount, but from 2014 to 2018, McAfee allegedly failed to file tax returns despite receiving considerable income from these sources, so it's probably millions of dollars. And according to the indictment, McAfee allegedly evaded his tax liability by directing his income to be paid into bank accounts and cryptocurrency exchange accounts, not in his name. So all the best of luck, but he's facing a fair amount of time, and each count of tax evasion is 5 years in prison and a maximum sentence of 1 year in prison for each count of willful failure to file a tax return. So, yeah, decades in prison. So that's today's video. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment down your opinion below, to which you'll see you guys in the next video. Best of luck, John.